began as an honors project in the English department. And Ann Morrison was the one who generated all this activity. I'm here to introduce Eberhard Fuhr. Eb was born in Cologne, Germany in 1925 and came to the United States in 1928. At the age of 17, he was taken out of a school, arrested, and interned. While he was there in school, he had a girlfriend, he had friends, and he was taken from all of that and first detained in Chicago, then went to an intern camp in Texas, where, and finally to Ellis Island. While he was interned in Texas, he tried to live a normal life. He had a girlfriend there. He worked as an iceman and earned 10 cents an hour. And the girlfriend from Texas was repatriated to Germany. And after that, he had his future life. He was released when he was 22 in 1947 and got on with his life, went to the Ohio University in Athens and graduated in 1952. He then worked for 50-some years in the oil and plastics industry. And when he retired in 1990, he started thinking about his internment in his mother, how he and his family lost their house, how that house was looted, and how everything valuable in the family was taken. So Ab decided to become an activist in honor of his mother. Ab.
Well, thank you very much. And it's going to be tough to follow Elsa Walther, with whose story is really riveting, and really it's almost unbelievable that any human being can go through that kind of thing. But it's really great to be in St. Louis. St. Louis is, of course, a big Major League Baseball team, and I grew up in Cincinnati, and we always had our problems with St. Louis. But you have always had some great ball players like the Dean brothers. I actually saw the Dean brothers pitch, and I'm so old too that I actually saw Johnny Vandermeer pitch his first of two successive no-hitters in Cincinnati. So this being another river town, just like Cincinnati is, and a lot of you have memories of those side wheelers and the stern wheeler boats that we have in Cincinnati too. Because as Mr. Simon said, the rivers were the superhighways of their day, the way of commerce. But during my presentation, it's only anecdotal because it's a convenient way to hang on the documents, the presidential proclamations, the decrees, and all that kind of things that made internment possible. There were 60,000 Germans, mostly Germans, arrested, according to the Assistant Attorney General James Rowe, when he testified to at the Japanese conference to establish their restitution. And he went on to say that there were 90 hearing boards, and that lawyers were absolutely not permitted in any of the hearings because it was easier that way. Now, any dictator can do the same thing. It's always easier that way. You can say, well, the road is going to go that way, and you don't have to mess around with an environmental impact statement. But internment didn't really start with Pearl Harbor. After 1930, after the war started in Europe in 1939, there were an array of ships that landed in United States ports. And they had, some of them were not German ships, were even Panamanian ships and things, but they might have had German crews. And these crews were not permitted to go back to Germany on the premises that there was a war going on in Germany, and it's against the America's neutrality situation to permit them to go back and become combatants. And of course, 1939 was 2 years before Pearl Harbor. The question is, and even the boat that brought me to the United States, the SS Columbus, in 1928, attempted to make a run back to Germany, and it was tailed by a U.S. Navy boat, and they radioed ahead to the British, and before it was intercepted, the captain elected to scuttle that beautiful passenger liner. And these crews then were actually interned in that Fort Lincoln, North Dakota, where most of the German internees ended up at one point or another. The crews of these merchant mariners were already there. Now, as I make this presentation, I'd like you to keep in mind whatever I say, how does it measure up to the United States Constitution of free speech, free assembly, and equal protection under the laws. Right now, in Congress, we are attempting to have, for the last 10 years, we've been attempting to have the Wartime Treatment Studies Act enacted. The Congress has already allowed it to go through the committee process, but it hasn't been to the floor yet. The Senate version is sponsored by Senator Feingold and Senators Grassley. Then also I'd like you to measure it up against the Geneva Conventions. In 1944, the United States War Department, that was before it was the Defense Department, issued this booklet here. If you should be captured, these are your rights. Every U.S. military guy was given this booklet because it would fit in the blouse of his uniform. And it says, you are there for the duration, once you're made a prisoner of war, and the monotony is deadly. The monotony, believe me, is deadly. But then it goes on to say that you have rights as a prisoner of war. It says here, you cannot be punished for what somebody else has done if you're a prisoner of war. You can't be punished for what Hitler did or what Roosevelt did. You must be protected against insult or acts of violence by enemy military or civilians. The enemy must clothe, feed, and shelter you. In the same, actually in the Geneva Conventions even specifies it in the same quality as the local population around the prisoner camp. So it all started when I was born in Germany. That's my birth certificate. I can't lie about my age. It's right there. And this is my visa, but I somehow it got upside down. So you have to read it upside down. And it's on my mother's visa, and that's another reason to be. I'm happy to be here in St. Louis because I'm Lutheran, and